Let me see. Let me get this. There we go. All right, we're going. Wow.
What?
This is probably the quickest I hit record from time of me calling you to
Wow.
when you were saying, Biff, why didn't you record the first 10 minutes of our
Yeah.
show?
I usually go into like a 5 minute bit and then you go, all right, let me record this. And I'm like, no.
Well, you're like one of those people that pick up the phone already talking. Like my ex coworker, sounds funny to say, Gina Crash. Like you would call her and she would pick up the phone already starting a conversation. Like it wasn't like hello, it was like hey, brilliant, I'm da 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 da, and
Yeah.
then like 5 minutes would go in before you actually got to why you were calling her in the first place.
Yeah. And that's like a bad habit because then when someone does call me and I'm like, caught off guard and I'm just like, hello, like, John? I'm like, yeah.
Something wrong?
What's wrong? Nothing. I'm just sitting here. But when I know you're calling, I'm ready to roll.
You're ready to roll. Well, let's do this.
I want to
It's
talk about your new job. I want to talk about a lot of shit.
lay out a lot of stuff to talk about, and let's do the intro if I can remember. It's been a long time, John. So we'll get to it. It is the Brilliant Show. I am Scotty Brilliant, in case you've forgotten. And John, I still can't pronounce your last name. Is it Hassinger?
Has a singer.
Has a singer.
Hey singer.
So I was close. I was pretty close, right?
Passenger.
So John, I know how to pronounce your last name. Now we
Aha.
re-recorded a show about 3 or 4 weeks ago where we kind of updated the listeners on what was going on in each other's lives. 'Cause a lot of big things have happened since I think we did our last show. But we had a good show, and when we lost connection, which we do pretty much every show, for some reason it didn't record the second half. So I was trying to piece together the first half, and I thought it's just gonna get cut off, and then we have it would have been a 30 or 40 minute show
Yeah.
still. But whatever. I felt like it basically was just me being lazy, and I didn't feel like editing it and
Yeah.
putting an
It's
ending
okay.
on there. So yeah. Um, and then too much time goes by, and you're like, I really can't post this because some of the things we were talking about were like time sensitive. Where we were like, kind of, I think I was watching a UFC fight or something when we were talking about it as it was
Right. Yeah.
happening.
They're like, yeah.
So now, are you? Can you hear me all right? It seems
Like
like you're.
month-old news.
Can you hear me fine?
No, you're breaking up pretty bad.
Am I?
How am I?
Let's not start till you were breaking up. Let me see. I got. I got full
You're better
connection.
now.
Okay.
Now, do you have a fan blowing?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
It just
Can you hear the fan?
every once in a while I can hear like wind.
Here,
I can hear like wind.
let me put it down to level 1. Hang on. It's still just as loud, isn't it?
No, now it's better. It wasn't loud. It was just that noise that
Yeah,
noise when like a wind, like if you don't have a wind buffer.
kind of like
That's
a.
what it's
Yeah, well, it's a loud fan too. This fan was actually in our room, but it would keep me up at night. You know when you focus on something when you're trying to sleep, especially something like a fan, and you hear like it clicking, and it made me crazy. And I had to I brought it down in the middle of the night and exchanged it with the fan that we usually have down here. So it was bothering me.
Do those noises keep you up at night?
If I can't sleep, sometimes I'm not recently because it's been like I'm actually working full time. So by the time I lay in bed, it's like usually like a
Yeah.
5 minute window. Yeah, between when I fall down in bed and when I actually fall asleep. So it's I'm pretty much out. But
Right.
if I can't sleep, yeah, like the little things will bother me. I mean, are you the same way?
No. I know when I'm gonna fall asleep, and if it's not that moment, if I don't feel that, then I just don't pretend like I'm just gonna lay down and fall right to sleep. You know what I mean? Like I know if I go and lay down in bed, if I'll stare at the ceiling for an hour. So
Yeah,
I won't do it. I just won't do it to myself.
yeah.
And I'll work, I'll play on the internet until like I know my head before my head hits the pillow, I'll be out.
It does not bother. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like you working from home, is there a time where if you're like super tired, you can just go like from your desk in your room or wherever your office is to your bed and just take like a 45-minute nap, or do you try not to do that during the day?
Yeah, no, I've done that before.
Oh, it's
Um,
nice. It's got to be nice.
yeah, I mean, in my office, the bed is, I don't know, like I can reach out and touch the bed from. So sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm answering all these emails and my eyes are closing, and I just stop and I get up and I just fall on the bed for
Oh.
like, good 45. I wake up, I'm a little delirious, and it's like all these missed calls. I'm like, ugh, but whatever. I can catch up.
Well, I mean, I think that's the beauty of working from home. I mean, I remember when I used to work at
Oh, it's the best.
WOGL and I was tired. FM
WOGLFM,
Oldies 98.
Philadelphia.
I think everybody that grew up in the South Jersey, Philly area knows the call letters for
Oh
Oldies 98.
yeah,
My parents used to listen to that all the time when I was a kid.
it's as well known as Rock That Really Rocks.
Now,
Same vein.
same audience, same listening audience too.
Yep,
Same
right.
amount of people.
Same amount of listeners.
Same amount
Yes.
of listeners, yeah, yeah. um, but I remember there was a couple of times where I was like dead tired, and towards the end of my career there, I kind of gave up on things, and I would go and sleep in my car in Fairmount Park, which is probably not like the smartest of things to do, but I
Wow.
figured middle of the day, I'll just recline my seat, lock my doors, take a
Yeah.
nap. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I think people have been killed in Fairmount Park, but I was fine. It turned out okay for me, but you know.
My
But
mom actually worked there.
where in Fairmount Park or
Mm,
WGL?
WOGL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did? Your mom?
My mom. Yeah.
She worked at WOGL.
Yeah. Like when
Doing
they were
what?
like, new.
What was she doing?
She was like, would answer the phones.
Really? At OGL?
Yeah.
Was she in the NBC 10 building or was it before they were in that building?
I have no idea. I haven't like asked her that much about it because I kind of like don't believe it. You know when your parents tell you they do something and you're like, nah, I think you are thinking of something else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've never like really dug into. But she says she met Mick Jagger. Like the Stones were interviewed there because they were in town and she met
Yeah.
him. And so I guess I should probably get more information.
Yeah, you should, man. I mean, and that's the beauty of Philly stations. Like I listen to Preston and Steve every morning on my way to work, and they have some like big guests that you're right. They have some they have some big guests that come in. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
it just shows you the difference between like major market radio that's still viable versus like smaller market radio where you can't get anybody in. But I mean, like
Right.
there's
It's
always people floating through. Like,
Yeah, there's
um,
like those big cities are populated enough to where there's enough people still listening to free radio that they don't have to worry about it. So they're a big market still.
well, yeah, and they still do like private concerts. Like I was just listening to
Yeah.
Billy Corgan. The Smashing Pumpkins just played in Philly with Marilyn Manson, and
Oh
Billy
yeah, I
Corgan
saw that.
stopped by MMR and played like three songs during Jackson's show. Pierre Robert interviewed him. I listened to it from my desk at work. I just went on to MMR streaming and I listened to Billy Corgan's interview. And the salespeople get everybody in the office gets to meet these guests. Because they go through the office. So even just working
Yeah.
there, not on air, you still get to meet pretty cool people.
Yeah.
So.
So when did you work there before Quick Rock that really rocks?
Before Quick Rock, yeah, I worked there. When did I get the job? I kind of dicked around after I graduated from Penn State until like the end of August, September, and I worked there from September 2004 to March of 2005, and then I came back to State College to work for Quick Rock April of 2005. So uh,
So were you on the air or no? You were like a salesman,
I
weren't
was a sales guy. Yeah, I hated
you?
it.
Yeah.
It was just miserable. But it worked out well because they were probably going to fire me. Like they liked me. I just wasn't doing a good job in sales. But they
Right.
called me into the office. Like it was a couple people, and they said, how do you feel about this job? And I said, well, I don't think it's really working out right now. And they said, yeah, why don't you get some more experience and we'd hire you again. So we kind of left on good terms. But then
Ah.
I took my last paycheck and I went up to Hunter Mountain to go snowboarding. Went from Hunter to Scranton. Met up with another group of friends in Scranton. We drove down to Daytona Beach because they were still. It was their senior year at Penn State. I'd already graduated. It was Serge and my buddy Jeff. We went to
Oh yeah,
uh,
my class.
your class. Yeah, we went to Daytona for a week. Um, hammered every day. I
A lot of
walked a
NASCAR.
club. Yeah, right. Yeah, we a lot of NASCAR. Um, Daytona Spring Break,
Yeah,
and then we went
NASCAR.
back to Scranton for the Scranton St. Patty's Day parade, and then I drove back
Oh,
to State
biggest parade in the
College.
world.
I drove to State College for an interview
Damn.
at the Center Daily Times. I was interviewing for a promotions director position. This is a funny story,
Oh my
and
God,
I
I
was
didn't know
so
this.
sick from a week of just no
Oh,
sleep and alcohol.
NASCAR.
I had the and NASCAR, yeah, just
All that
a lot of
Budweiser.
car racing. But I was so sick. I had the worst cough, and I remember 6 or 7 times during the interview that he had to stop it to get me water and cough
Oh,
drops. And I thought for sure I effed up the interview. I ended up getting that job, and then on
what?
the way back from the interview, that's when Troy called me and said, "Hey, are you interested in coming back to Quick Rock?" So I had two job offers.
No way.
One that paid double of what they offered me at Quick Rock, and yet I took the job at Quick Rock. So
That's insane.
how crazy is that? I wish it could happen as easy as it did back then when I had no experience. Now, when I have 10 years of work experience, I got offered two jobs in
Oh,
pretty much
really?
one day. So, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Um,
amazing.
so,
So, what is this new job? This new position? This new opportunity?
new opportunity. Yeah, I'm actually working for a nonprofit. So, what the place that I'm at is a place called Association Headquarters, and it's a very generic name, but they're an umbrella. Um, they're a management firm for about 20 nonprofits, may give or take a few. But so the nonprofit that I specifically work for is AST. It's the American Society of Transplantation. And after we did our show last time, I figured out that I called it by the wrong name. I said like Association for Surgical. I didn't even have it right,
You
but
don't even know where you work.
it was like my second day on the job. Yeah, I didn't even know where I worked, but yeah. So I'm working for this nonprofit. So it's cool. It's a lot different than radio. It's a lot more monotonous, but it's still. I think it's a good career change.
Yeah.
So and
It's Association Headquarters Incorporated in
um,
Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
yeah, yep, Mount Laurel, yep. So the
Alright.
website's really cool. They have there's a lot of opportunity there because they have a lot of different positions. They have
Right.
communications, marketing, public relations. So there's a lot going on, and they're really cool with their employees. Like we have early out Fridays, so everybody leaves like 2 or 3 o'clock, depending on when you get in. When you get in, they offer flex time, so
Ooh.
you can kind of like pick and choose when you want to come in and when you want to leave.
Wow. It's getting work
Tomorrow,
done.
as long as you get your work done tomorrow, they have a burger truck that's driving up, and there's 2 hours where we can make our own burgers and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's pretty cool. There's some cool perks.
That's awesome.
Panera dropped off to us today, so I had free food and
So you
so
can kind of like work with other departments and figure out like how they do what they do, and
exactly,
maybe you can jump ship.
exactly. You're
Ah.
exactly right, and that's the whole point. I'm in a contracted position, but I'm doing stuff for everybody, so I
Right.
know kind of when the contract is up. I've been told by a couple people that they're going to make room for me in a full time capacity, whether it be at this nonprofit or within the company. So there's opportunity, which is
Nice.
at this point. Yeah. So
Just become everyone's friend. That's the trick.
I say hi to everybody and anybody, John. And like there's a financial up on the third floor of our building. There's a group of like financial advisors, and those are the guys that drive their Bentleys and. 'Cause I always look in the parking lot to see what kind of company it is because I
Oh
feel like I
yeah.
can tell a lot by what people drive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someone like IROCs and Pintos and
yeah, yeah,
Toyota Corollas from the '90s.
yeah. So, but yeah, there's a couple
Duct
of
tape on a window.
plastic bag over the.
Yes. A
There's a couple of
hanger.
Bentleys, but I think they belong to the financial guys. I know the CEOs of the company drive like Audis and nice Mercedes, but the real expensive cars, I think they're the financial guys on the third floor. So maybe I'll wander around there one day and just shake hands with
Oh
random people.
yeah.
You know, pull a John
Yeah.
Hassinger.
Yeah. No, I don't do that. I just wait until it's time to start working together, and then but you can go from 0 to 60 real quick. So you got to make sure you watch that. Don't
Yeah.
snap on anyone.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm already. That's funny you brought. Yeah, because I'm already, finding out where people that I work with, the personality differences,
The
and
line that you
yeah,
can't.
that's funny you brought that up. Why were you thinking that? Did you have a story in mind, or you just
No, I bite my tongue 100 times a day, and it pays off.
yeah.
Like I'll write out long emails where I crush someone, and I go, you know what? Nothing will change if I don't send this. And if I do send it, I could like lose my job. So I just hit delete.
That's good.
You swallow it like over and over and over and over and
But it
over.
helps to write it out, not just send
Yeah,
it out with your
that's true. That's kind of like getting it out of your head and off your chest.
yeah off your bosom,
Of your monsters.
of your huge monsters.
Speaking of monsters, they're rebooting Baywatch,
Oh, God.
but like a movie.
You know what, John? I'm glad you brought this up because I was just talking to Natalie about this last night. And I do want to get into because we had a very important topic to talk about in your life, something major that happened. We'll get to that uh, momentarily. But now that you brought up this, I just read that they're rebooting Full House without the Olsen twins on board. They want to reboot
Fuller House.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Oh
with
yeah,
Will Smith in some capacity, whether he's a producer or in it.
he's the one that wants to like make it.
Why are they doing this? Like those shows were iconic back in the 90s. I don't think they should ruin a good thing. I really don't. I think
They're
just be done with it.
they're rebooting everything from the 90s. It's
But
so
who's the
weird.
audience? Like, are you going to watch Full House
It's
now?
you and I.
But are you going to watch it? Are you going to get nostalgic about Jesse Kasopoulos, who's now 50 years old? Or whatever
Still
his name
looks
is?
great though.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
Stamos. Well, the show is like it's not a reboot; it's a spin-off, so it's totally different. It's not like just Full House again with all the same characters. It's DJ and Kimmy Gibbler like now, like as adults. It's
Really?
still going to be terrible. I mean, I'm not going to watch it, but at least I might check out the first episode just to see what they're doing.
Well, DJ is hot, man. She's all
I
very
know.
Christian now, very holy roller, but she looks really good. Whatever, Candace Cameron.
Yeah, her brother's insane.
Oh, he's completely insane.
Wow. He played one of the coolest characters of television, and then in real life is just a lunatic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shame. But yeah, I'm going to check out the reboot or the spin-off Full House. I will not watch whatever this Baywatch thing is. I'm just not.
It's a movie, you said, or it's another TV show? I mean, the TV show sucked when it was originally on the air. It was dumb.
Pam Anderson said that it's a mistake. No one appreciates the remakes.
She's actually right about that.
She doesn't believe the premise could work on the big screen in 2015. So I guess that means it's a movie. The big screen, right?
Well, it never worked. I mean, it was dumb back in the 90s. It's going to be even dumber now.
It was so bad, and it was only good because of Pam Anderson and then
huge boobs.
Yasmine Bleeth.
Oh, Yasmine Bleeth. I had a crush on her. Whatever happened to her?
Loved her. She became like a coke addict, I think.
Oh, nice.
Went to rehab.
Oh, sweet. All right.
Yeah, she didn't really,
good for her.
She didn't take her career to the next level like Pam Anderson did and make.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she really. She became a top tier actress after Baywatch.
Yes. She just married Tommy Lee and then Dennis Rodman.
That was there, and she had normal relationships.
Yeah. Oh,
what a mess. I hope she's in it in like a tight, skimpy bikini with her huge, inflated tennis ball. Didn't she get implants and then a reduction and then implants again?
Yeah, a lot of tire rotating going on.
Oh, God, they probably look horrible. They probably look like two tennis balls and like a tube sock.
Yeah, I agree, man. Probably looks really bad at this point compared to what she did look like 20 years ago.
Did you ever think she was hot. I wouldn't have said, like, get out of my bed, but did you think she was...
I was more of a Yasmine Bleeth
too.
And Jenny McCarthy, actually.
Yeah, Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny and Pamela Anderson are like, they're not that far apart, but still, she was just slightly different. Hotter in the face, I think.
Well, you can tell who's more weathered now. I mean, Jenny McCarthy looks a lot better than Pam Anderson does now.
Yeah, that's because Jenny McCarthy eats like nothing. She like eats all her food from the ground.
Yeah, yeah. She's a nutbag too, man. Imagine dating her.
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall when her and Jim Carrey were together because it must
Oh
be the
my
craziest
God.
nutbag house.
Really,
Like
really strange. Two strange people
two very odd
that were
characters.
just trying to like probably out weird each other. Like it was like a game of chicken. Like who's finally gonna break and go, all right, this is just too weird.
Yes, I know. Probably like smearing boogers over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Eating their own poop.
Yeah.
They just were trying to gross each other out with weirdness, and no one stuttered. Can you hear me?
Johnny there.
Yeah.
What happened to my headphones?
Oh, what happened to my headphones?
What's going on?
All right, so we lost Scott. Did you know Baywatch is being rebooted? If not, are you surprised? You shouldn't be. It's a show from the 90s. It's kind of what the headline says.
So it really doesn't give you any answers.
I mean, it's just, I think Zac Efron and The Rock are in it.
Oh, that should be good.
So, yeah, I mean, if you put those two in it, it's probably going to get, it's going to sell tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
So, the new job is good so far.
New job's going all right. Yeah. I mean, I can't complain. It's it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's
Right.
yeah,
Pays
it's
the
going.
bills.
It's going. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, so far.
Right.
Until I buy my yacht and my jet skis and stuff, and then I'm gonna have to pick up a second job. But for now, yeah, John, we're doing all right.
Good.
So
Good to
now,
hear.
John, I know we had a big part of the last show we did about what's going on with you, and I understand you're officially off the market now as far as Facebook is concerned.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, officially off the market. It was one of the craziest, weeks of my life leading up to it, all the way from Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon, when I drove to my shrink, and I was like, I just go there and just tell him, yeah, I'm doing good. Give me more meds. And he does, and then I leave. And I'm leaving, and like for some bizarre reason, like I still don't know why. I was like, I'm gonna just drive to a jeweler and just look at a ring. Just check it out. And I Googled just, Boca Raton jewelry. And the first place my GPS takes me to is to the middle of a parking lot at FAU campus, just in the middle of nowhere.
Some guy with some rings and a trench coat.
There was like two guys sitting on like a golf cart, like probably smoking a joint
Oh yeah, this is the guys that sell the rings. Yeah,
under the shade. Yeah, right.
yeah.
So I'm like, son of a bitch. And I go back to the Google and I type in, just Boca Raton jewelry, and I click the second one. And it takes me to this jewelry store. I don't even know the name of it. I go in and and on the ride there, I'm like, I'm going to buy one. I'm just going to buy it now. And as I'm like driving, I'm like formulating my plan. I'm like, okay, well, if I buy it now, it might not be ready right away. So I'll plan something for like Friday. Like I have no plan. I'm just, for some reason, I'm like, I have to buy this now.
You're
Enough
like
is enough.
compelled to do it. Yeah.
Enough. Yeah, right, dude. It was like something was pulling me. And so I go there, I walk in, and I say, here's what I want. Here's what I'm going to spend. I'll be your easiest customer of the day. And it took like a half hour, and they were like, it'll be ready Friday. And so, I hate keeping secrets, especially, good news. So I call her best friend, and I'm like, yo, I just bought a ring. And she like freaks out. And I was like, look, here's what I need you to do. Corral all her friends and have them at this restaurant Friday night. And she's like, okay. And so she works on that. So then the next morning, I call her dad. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I have a 30-day return policy. So if you have anything against me asking your daughter to marry me, let me know now, or at least in the next 30 days. No, I did the typical ask for permission.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
That's
his blessing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, absolutely. And then I texted her mom and I said, hey, I go, everything's okay. Are you free? She texts back, what's wrong?
Of course.
So then she calls and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know, I talked to her dad and I got a ring, and
Are her
she.
parents divorced? If you remind me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're divorced. So, but she was so happy and excited, and so I had to just sit on it for like 2.5 days. It was
That's
just
tough, isn't it?
absolute torture, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't remember. Did you rush yours? Like you couldn't wait any longer, and you just kind of like popped the question, like not as you planned to do.
Yeah, I did. I had a couple ideas in mind, and they all just didn't pan out. And yeah, basically, I was kind of like you, John. I bought the see at the time that, and not to get away from your story, but just to answer your question, at the time I bought the ring, we were also we had just bought our house, and Natalie was pregnant, so there's like a lot of things going on, a lot of
Oh wow.
money going out. So I bought this ring, and I was like, I remember I had like hot flashes. Like I was like broke out in like cold sweats, and I like drove to a field, and I got out of the car, and I just hyperventilated because it's like all this stuff was happening in one like major things in life were all happening within like 1 week, and
Oh
uh,
my God, yeah.
the
Am I
funny
gonna
thing.
make it?
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of questions, and the funny thing was I had the receipt for the ring in my wallet, and we were driving one day,
Uh-huh.
and she always tells a story. I was like, we were going somewhere and I get something to eat or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, I got cash. I'm like, check how much cash I made because I had just had one I like gigs at one of the bars,
Right.
pay me in cash. So I had like $400 in my wallet or something stupid. And she
Right.
was like, "No, I believe you. You don't have to show off." And I was like, "No, just check out my bills." So finally, after me convincing her like an idiot, she opens the wallet and there's the receipt for the ring. And of course, me who goes from 0 to 60, I was like, "Oh fuck, son of a bitch!"
Oh.
I was all pissed. I got out of the car. I
Oh.
was like, "It's all ruined." And then so I was like, "Well, I better do it." And then later that night, we were getting ready to go to dinner and killed the lights in the house, and because the ring had a little like spotlight, like cheesy little spotlight that was in the box that like kind of
Oh,
highlighted the
cool.
ring. And she was getting ready, and I killed all the lights in the house. And then went up and said it and just kind of made up something on the fly. So is that kind of like what you did? You were just kind of whatever. I mean, you had
Yeah, I
obviously
mean,
her friends get together, and you were at a different place, right, from where her friends were. You didn't
right.
propose
Like,
in front of her friends.
no, I didn't propose in front of her friends. I was supposed to. I mean, I never like etched it in stone what the plan was on my end. I was just gonna ask her. It doesn't matter how or when. I'm just gonna do it before we get to where everyone is. And in my head, I was like, nah, maybe we'll go out to dinner. The first place we actually like met up, and the first night we kissed, we'll go there. And I was like, but then when do I ask her? Do I
Yeah.
do it right when we sit down? Do I do it after they take our order? Do I do it after we eat? No way. I'm not going to be able to eat. My heart's going to be in my throat. I'm going to be so nervous and anxious and excited. I'm not going to be able to finish my food. Be like stuffing it down.
Yeah, yeah, yep, no.
This is delicious. I can't swallow.
Sweating like crazy.
Oh yeah. And then I'm like, well, no matter when I ask her once we're in the restaurant, there's going to be an audience. And I don't know if I want that kind of audience. I don't know if I want to be in front of an audience for that. That's
Yeah,
like a major move.
yeah,
And oh man, you just kind of want to like get it out.
yeah. And
Just
you
you
don't
don't.
want a ton of people like surrounding you. You know, I mean,
Yeah. No, it's very personal. You know what I'm saying? Like
yep,
it's not something that you do on display.
yeah.
Uh, at least not me. So I'm like, okay, then maybe I'll
Oh,
do it on the walk into the restaurant. I'll do it on the sidewalk there, this little like neighborhood that it's in. And I'm like, but then I'm just gonna be like on the side of the road. Like, what if like there's a car crash or something? Like people are watching us, or a car drives by, or somebody beeps their horn, or a million different things going wrong in my head. I'm like, oh no, when am I going to do this? So it's Friday night, and
or if there's
I'm
a
like, we
drive-by
have
shooting, you know,
we have right.
you know, it was like a gang
We
member.
have dinner. I tell her we have. Oh yeah, in Delray Beach.
It's tough. You there, John?
Can you hear me?
John, can you hear me? John, John, John.
Biff,
John,
can you hear?
John, can you hear me?